Welcome back on Dynamo. Today I want to propose you the unboxing and review about the Bonetithe Nexus, that it's the shining elements of the new army Ossiarch Bonereapers, and this is really quite a big shining elements. The height of it's almost like a nugget, so really quite amazing one. So now we can go to see the box itself and then open it to see the contents inside. The image itself, it's really quite nice, so we can see how it's painted and some proportion about it. Here we can find some details, here other ones, also here we can find other details, and if we flip we can find here the part about build and so on with some better details, the scheme of colors that you can use. Remember that they are not first one but a simple suggestion, so a lot of things that are inside. So now we can open it and see the contents. Here we can find the instructions about how to build the model, and I suggest you to see this instruction because not because it's difficult to build this model, but because it's really quite useful to understand better how to monetize and so on. For example, we can find that the holes that are inside here can be really quite interesting to put the magnets to build these columns. Also here we can find how to build in such a way the weapons themselves. So eventually you can think, for example, how to convert these things and take other things. For example, you can take this part and gain the conversion of it in the way that you gain quite a lot of interesting things. Something that is interesting about this model is that this type of skull, as you can see, it's really quite similar to the helmet of Lord Marshal of Chronicles of Riddle, and I put the image here to make the comparison. So now we can open this and see better the instructions, and we can find quite a lot of interesting things. There are also these ones that you can add or not, it's up to you, and they can develop, but eventually you can reuse these ones as other shinings. So there are quite a lot of things that you can make them available. Eventually you can also think about using this not as the Nexus itself, but combined to gain different options. For this I suggest you to think about monetizing in the way that you gain quite a lot of more options to use this. And here we have the rules that are really quite amazing ones. It's really a great model, and it's also a special one, but I talk better in the video about the review for the battle tome of the Ossiarch Bonereapers. And here we can find quite a lot of instructions to take note, so we can put this away and see the contents inside. So we can take off this model and we can see how big it is. I want to make you a comparison. For example, this is a Space Marine, so we can a Primary Space Marine, so we can see that it's really quite big. So for example, this one we can make see it's almost big as this as height, so really quite big one. And we can find that it's really quite interesting to build. So here, for example, there is a hole that you can use, for example, square magnets to put inside these columns, and there are quite a lot of interesting options. Eventually you can try to use, for example, for this some blue stuff and green stuff to reproduce it eventually. There are quite a lot of details, really quite amazing one. As you can see also here we can find really crazy. It's double because as you can see it's the same two sides of it, but really quite amazing as model, and really quite rich of detail, believe me. Also only seeing here the different skeletons that are on these stairs and so on, there are a lot of options. It will require quite a lot of things. One thing that I suggest anyway, it's that you paint some parts of it before to build eventually, because some parts you risk not to reach. And for example, these swords can be used for other models eventually, because they are really quite big. Eventually you have the problem here about, but you can reconstruct it or even use this part, but it's quite amazing one. I suggest even to think about buy two of these, one to have a Nexus and one to cut parts from this model and create something completely new. You can take this part and create a giant and a column separately. You can take this part and create a modified version of Nagash or some giants too that at this changing the positioning of these options. So quite a lot of amazing parts that can be. As you can see, also for these parts, it's really quite easy to monetize and so on. So really quite interesting. Also see the details about these barrels. You even only need to take these parts without even gluing them together to create other options to your ways. Really big and really quite amazing model to take note. I'm really quite satisfied with this buying, because it's really quite amazing. So I think that this model is really quite amazing and I suggest you to buy. I yet said, but it's quite amazing. The rules are amazing, also only for the Ossiarch Bonereapers plane. But remember that in this case, try to use magnets or not to glue all the model. One, because it's better to transport the model itself, because otherwise you'll have problems. Because remember that you have this one that it's vertical, so it's really quite high. But if you are able to put this on a plane, it's much better to transport, so take note about this. And think about having this model for your own collection, because I think that it's one of the best that I've seen. Simply really amazing. So from Dino Mode, it's everything. I invite you to put a like on this video, to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell, and to comment this video if you are interested in something about this video or you want to suggest me some arguments for other videos. I hope to see you again. Till next time.